On the 3rd of August, 8-year-old food tech startup Swiggy announced that its full-time employees could take up side gigs outside of office hours. 2 weeks later, chairperson of a 7-decade-old Wipro, Rishad Premji, termed moonlighting as cheating. Moonlighting. What exactly does it mean? What's this trend really all about? Even if you don't work in Wipro or Swiggy, you need to watch this video. Moonlighting is basically a popular practice in the West and now making a strong and speedy headway in India. Who doesn't want to earn some extra bucks on the side while still getting a full-time salary from your current job? But wait, is it even ethical? Is it really cheating? Is it even legal in India? And importantly, is it a long-term sustainable model for you and I? Let's find out all of that in this video. But before that, please remember to like, share and subscribe. Press that bell icon so you keep getting updates on all our videos. Alright, first off, let's elaborate the concept of moonlighting. Now, the trend in which people take up a second job to increase their income is technically known as moonlighting. This concept is actually not new. Teachers in India who taught in schools often took tuitions, remember? Classes in the evening during their free time. That was their side hustle. Founders of several startups have been moonlighting in their previous jobs. In fact, Bruce Wayne is moonlighting.
Bruce Wayne, I'm Batman.
According to several claims, the name is derived from working at night or working by the moonlight and not the daylight. That was the term defined during the time when work from office was the conventional practice, right? But as the pandemic hit, work from home culture exploded really. Many have jumped onto this opportunity to take up another job, or a side gig as it's called, to earn some extra cash. Look at this statistics for starters. According to a survey in 2021, nearly 40% of the workers admitted to having 2 full-time jobs in the United States. But that's the United States. In India, how exactly does it work? We spoke to a techie who is moonlighting, obviously doesn't want to come on camera and speak about it. But we tried to understand from him, okay, how does the entire gig work? How do you manage 2 full-time jobs in a single day? And he says the key is dividing your time. Take this up. Suppose you work for company A, which is from 9 to 5. You pick up work also from company B, but there the timings is 2 to 10. The ratio of work is then divided between 30-30, which means that you focus 30 minutes on A and more on A and less on B. Then the next 30 minutes more on B and less on A. And that is how you show both places that the task is actually getting done. Now, this requires a lot of hustle, of course, but also brings you all that extra cash. But remember, cash, money is not the sole reason for taking up a secondary job. So in our research, we came across a survey by resume builders on the top reasons. Now, while investing and paying off debts was indeed 2 of the primary reasons really, people wanted much more from their skill set. And that is additional work experience as well. Sometimes people want to take up their hobbies or passion to the next level and monetize that. And surprisingly, people also moonlight just to combat boredom. But there's one other reason, and that is shortage of skilled people in India. Now, don't get us wrong. India obviously does have skilled youth and it is growing. We even did a video on that talking about how the skill sets in India compared to what's happening in the US, etc. is so good news for you. So check it out over here. You can press that link. But these skills are still concentrated amongst a few, and it's getting difficult for companies to recruit on a large scale. According to a PwC survey, 54% of the employees strongly agreed that India lacked the relevant skill set. So there are people who started offering their services, but covertly, and juggle between their primary employment and their second job from home. There are several jobs, especially in the tech industry, which have successfully created a work from home infrastructure. And the pandemic propelled this culture of moonlighting really. But there's a catch, and you might have guessed it by now. The essence of moonlighting is to keep it a secret. Just how Bruce Wayne kept it a secret, remember? Unless you are working for Swiggy, of course. But Swiggy also has a very clear policy and guideline. And it goes on to say that moonlighting should be outside office hours and on weekends. The side gig should not affect productivity. The job should not clash with Swiggy's business And internal approvals are required still if the side gig poses a high risk of conflict with Swiggy's business. Girish Menon, who's the head of the human resources at Swiggy, went on to say that our aim is to encourage employees to pursue their passion without any constraints due to their full-time employment with us. But, as you know, Swiggy is just a one-off case in India. Employers in India contractually bind you to only work for them and prohibit them to take any of the side gigs. So read that fine print very carefully in your document. Any confirmation of you working on a second job without the consent of your employer can lead to disciplinary action, even termination. Something that did happen, in fact, to a very strange gentleman. In February of 2022, there was one person who was caught working for not 2, not 3, but 7 companies at the same time. Yes, you heard that right. But here's why employers actually usually discourage their employees from moonlighting. There is conflict of interest. For example, if you're working for a tech company like Upgrad, it will be a conflict of interest. If you're also working for Byju's, there could be an impact on your primary job, which is mainly the case. Your manager might think you're quiet quitting. Don't know quiet quitting? Go watch that video, man. We've done like a full detail on what exactly it is all about. Employees also, coming back to reasons, that employees can start using company resources such as laptops, softwares, etc. for both their jobs. People start taking more and more time off. But it also raises 2 important questions. Is moonlighting ethical? And is it even legal? Now, Shakun Khanna of Oracle recently coined this term called ethical moonlighting. He urged organizations to create more than one job opportunities for their employees and encourage them to take up multiple projects within the organization itself. Also pay them extra for that. This, he believed, can facilitate employees to work within the organization with their relevant skills for extra money rather than looking for work outside. The Wipro chairperson is clearly no fan, so if you're a Wipro employee and watching this, don't even think about moonlighting. But that aside, what are the global trends? We did some research and found out that global tech companies such as Microsoft, Google, all have a set of moonlighting guidelines. They sometimes allow their employees to work a second job, but with approvals. As far as the legality of taking up jobs, etc. is concerned, there is no law under which India can also prohibit it. However, there will be a confidentiality clause in the contracts that you may sign with your company, which may or may not allow you to take up multiple jobs. So read that document very carefully, because that document is legal and binding. Violating that could lead to adverse action as well. Legal experts said that generally in these cases, even if you go to court, employers will have their case. Bottom line here is get absolute clarity on whether or not your company allows moonlighting, because if you don't, there will always be a way in which you get caught. Remember that guy who could outsmart 7 companies in one go? Or they usually also end up having a massive burnout. Remember, even Batman was out for almost 8 years. Which brings us to whether this is a sustainable model or not in the long run. Moonlighting may require people to work at least 12 to 16 hours a day. Sometimes this work may be staggered through the day. Sometimes it could be at a stretch as well. But for many, it could lead to loss of sleep, burnout. They can be tired and stressed all the time, which can result in negative consequences such as making costly mistakes and the loss of productivity as well. So in the long term, it could prove to be a little taxing to your health and also risky. So the question is, should you be moonlighting? Bruce Wayne didn't have a boss, but you do. So first and foremost, please check your employment contract. Usually there's a clause mentioned there on whether or not you can take up these services. Apart from that, do talk to your manager. If they are okay with it, they can talk to your HR on your behalf. Lastly, if all really works out, keep a track of your health. It is extremely important that you not feel fatigued and stressed, which can cost you not one, but both jobs. Alright, so that was moonlighting from us. Tell us in the comments below, what did you think about it? Start a conversation about it with your family and friends. Share this video with them. Give us your inputs on where do you think moonlighting is going as a concept in India. and we'll take some of those questions with experts if you want them answered. That's it from us today. Before we sign off, please remember to like, share, subscribe to the Money Control channel.